everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Lady's Garden. I hope everyone had a pleasant week. As we go into the weekend ahead, I hope everyone has a great weekend. So I'm starting on this side of the garden. We had a nice soaking rain yesterday afternoon into late evening. So the garden's always thankful for that. I want to take a look at our dappled willow here. It definitely grew. It's definitely kind of arching to one side. It does get more sun on this side. I guess you can kind of see the hydrangea is also arching towards the sunlight. It dropped a lot of leaves, but yeah, hopefully it's okay. So the main purpose of this video here today is to kind of show sometimes as much as we plan, things don't always go our way, and that's with life, I guess. Well, not I guess, it's definitely with life. You plan something and sometimes it just doesn't go the way you want it to. Now in the garden we have, things that we do and then we change. I know I'm always changing things in my garden. I've moved quite a bit of plants already. Some plants I've lost, some plants I moved because I just didn't like the look of it. So I'm going to show you one of the things that I did really like, but obviously it definitely did not like its spot and it failed. So let's take a look at that. And here we are at the Bobos, and I'm so bummed out over this. They were doing great, and then just like that they started to lose leaves and wilt, and the flowers started to look not so pretty anymore. I can't say it wasn't for a lack of water that I think it is. I think it was getting maybe too much water. That's the only thing I can attribute to this decline of this plant. And if we take a look, like this one's the worst one. This one starting to show the same signs, and then this one starting as well. This one's probably a little bit more closer to this guy than this guy. So I don't want to leave them here. I'm going to dig them out, I'm going to cut them back, and I'm actually going to just replant them on another side of the garden, the side that I talked about that's undeveloped. I'm thinking maybe the downspout. I mean, there is a, a gutter, but then I know when we get an abundance of rain, the downspout is almost like I needed two of them to kind of flush the water, but the downspout, the gutter actually overflows. And I didn't think about that because the hostas didn't have a problem with rain. The hostas had a problem with the sun burning them. So yeah, I think it's a watering issue. I mean, the plant didn't show any kind of signs of spots. It definitely could be a fungal issue or some kind of disease, but I mean, the leaves are healthy and beautiful. It's just like the plant itself, if you look in there, so that's disappointing. But again, here's the lesson. You plan something and things don't always work. I mean, it's a plant. I didn't get these on discount. so these are paid full price for, because it was at the beginning of the season. So in an effort to save it, I'm going to just, like I said, just remove them, cut them back, put them on the other side of the house, see if they start to come back, and then I'll know, okay, I guess I have to probably be mindful of what I put here. Put something that's water loving, or maybe just do annuals here. Who knows? However, there's another spot I want to take you guys on a small tour. It's the Mother Mary Garden. Okay, here we are. And I really like this garden bed. As I mentioned, I put saline earlier in the season. The saline, the pink, it was like a bright pink. It was doing great, and then as the season went on, it started to look kind of like crappy looking, kind of like tired looking, and I didn't understand why. Maybe it could have been a water issue again. Maybe I was just giving it too much liquid love, but it started to not look good. So I ended up just removing them, and I put them on the other side of the house. That's my rehabilitation center for plants that I want to save, but I'm not sure what to do with. So I put them on the other side of the house. They ended up not doing well there either. And then I went ahead and I found the Evolution hydrangea, But I must say, it could have just been the time of year I got the Evolution hydrangea from the house, because I stand in different parts, of my house, and I'll look out because you want to admire your garden, all your hard work. And I didn't like the way it just looked dull. I mean, it definitely looked dull. From the window, I just wasn't loving it. And I know I went ahead and I got those geraniums, and then the geraniums, two of them died, like flat out, just started to crisp up and go. And you have to be careful when you do buy plants from garden centers. Make sure the roots, they have a good bit of roots. So upon buying those geraniums, the pink one, and now I do still have one, upon buying them, they were packed in dirt very well. And I didn't take the plant out and shake all the dirt off. But after I dug them up, I did notice 2 out of the 3 did not have a very established root system in the container, I guess. And I didn't realize it because it was so packed in dirt. And you water it, so that dirt's going to stick to those roots, or whatever roots are there. But after I dug them out, because they just crisped up and they just looked horrible. The third one, and that's one by the trellis there, that one had a very good root system. So I guess as a tip for gardeners, new gardeners, established gardeners, whoever you are, just as if you're buying plants, sometimes it doesn't hurt to take that plant out of the container gently. You don't want to damage the goods, but gently, while you're at the garden center, just kind of take a look at the root system. Sometimes plants are root bound, and when you bring it home, you can tell, because there's no dirt. You just see roots, and you can kind of tease them apart gently to send those roots out and stop kind of circling the plant itself. But I guess it's a whole nother topic of when the plant actually doesn't have a lot of roots and you bring them home. And I guess putting them in the garden, they just they couldn't handle the space they're in. I don't know. However, they're gone. Just one remained. However, let's take a look at what we have now here. So the balloon flowers are awesome. They just kept moving. Now the 2, like that one there in the middle, and this one here was actually moved up to where the alliums were. So I moved those down. Now these alliums I had in my garden for a long time. And these poor things, they actually, again, this is where I did divide the plant. It was 1 pot, and it was a good sized pot, and I divided it into 3. And they actually were kind of more, and guys, bear with me, we did have a rain. I don't have mulch everywhere, so the fence is dirty. But they were over here. Not where the salvias are, but kind of more over in the middle where the Kwanzaa cherry tree trunk is. And they bloomed, but I can tell they weren't that happy. So in the spring, I moved them when I extended this garden bed. I put them in the Grace garden behind me, and just to kind of let them have a spot to sit for a while I think about what I wanted. So I moved them back over here from the Grace garden. They had put on a little bit of size, so they were liking their spot, but I did move them. And then once I did that, remember the Medusa alliums? Well, one of them did die, and I couldn't find another one to replace. But then I started thinking about a pop of color. Like, I would like something lime green, because right over here everything is like dark green, and I love different shades of green. So I found these. These are a type of sedum. I believe is it Yellow Bouquet? I'm not sure. I'll get the name and I'll flash the name up. I don't have my plant tags in front of me, but I got that, and it is doing wonderful. Let's get closer. Like, it is just very, very happy, and I'm happy too, because I really like it. Really, really like it. So I got 2 of those, because I still want to keep the bookend idea. So I got 2 of those, and then I wanted something bright. Now, initially, I'm not a big yellow, flower person, but somehow I felt like the garden was lacking a punch, like a punch of color, a bright kind of fun color. And I started to research, and I saw Rudbeckia, and right now, this time of the season, Rudbeckia is everywhere. Okay, everyone, I had to take a slight break, because as I was explaining about the Rudbeckias, Black Eye Susans, being more available this time of year, a mosquito was just attacking me, and it wasn't very nice. So I had to take a break, went inside, got distracted. So now I'm out. So hopefully the sun glare isn't too harsh. I don't think it's harsh. I actually think it's kind of pretty. However, so as I was saying, the Rudbeckia does, I'm not going to have any spring blooms. So that's something I have to think about, but there's always different versions or different bloom times of daffodils. So I'm thinking I'm going to put pockets of daffodils here, just where the bare spots are. So that will be my spring blooming. It'll be interesting to see if I can get early spring blooming daffodils, mid, and then possibly late, so I can have that interest until maybe the balloon flowers come out. I don't know. As you see, I planned many times this area, and it's always changed. But in the season of planning, which has been for me all season long, growing season, I do like this setup or this placement of plants very, very much. Over here, I do have some more space. So I was thinking possibly doing irises. Irises, some of them are early blooming, to kind of get maybe a blue color, the strappy texture of the leaves. And I do see in design, I do like the different textures. I think it does make it look interesting. And obviously this isn't something I've come up with. This has been very well known to pair plants with different textures and different on same watering requirements, and that was something that unfortunately, I mean, I put the hydrangeas here, but hydrangeas do like water. I guess not too much, as we can see with the Bobos. And then I found the sedum, and I wanted that pop of color because I lost the Medusa allium, at least one. I do have one more. I put it in a pot actually. So the sedum and the hydrangea weren't very good pairing. Hydrangeas require a little bit more water than sedum. Sedum can be left alone and water occasionally, but they're pretty tough. Everything here has similar watering requirements. Everything here, it is in part shade, but I do believe the Rudbeckia will do okay. I've seen some in my area that are in a good bit of shade. Probably get some sun in the afternoon or in the morning, but they're doing pretty well. So I like this spot. I'm happy about this spot. It looks really bright and cherry and happy, and yeah. So let's go over here. There's the other sedum. Here is the spirea. Doing well, doing very well. I hope that I can get some blooms on it. Here are the rose marvel salvias. They look pretty good, and there are bugs everywhere. Little gnats. They come out around this time of day. They're doing okay. I mean, some of it looks a little, but it did plump up inside, in size. So, and here is my hydrangea tree. Looking very, it's heavy from the rain, so everything's kind of weighed down. Stand back. But check out these blooms. And this is limelight on a standard, as they say in the garden world. Isn't that pretty? I think that's really pretty. But the limelights seem to do very well for me. Very, very well. I possibly, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little bummed out about the Bobos, but what are you going to do? So let me turn you guys around and I'll show you my Quickfire hydrangeas. Okay, so here is the Quickfire. She started to turn pink, which is a really, really nice rosy pink. It's so pretty. I really like it. Very, very nice. And there is the Quickfire on standard, or the tree version. And we still have these really pretty big blooms. And then she has some pink on her as well. So I think it looks really nice. And this is a really lovely shot here. I'm really happy with the Rudbeckia. Like really, really. And this actually, we were just out and about doing errands. And sometimes you have like smaller independent garden stores. And then that's where we were passing by, and I saw like the color just stood out. And so I like to stop by different garden stores when I'm not in my area, because sometimes you can get really different plants, really plants that aren't sold like in the big box stores, sometimes you might get lucky and find something different variety of something there. Now, like I said, Rudbeckia, right now, it's everywhere. But the size of them, so let's walk back over. The size of these are like wonderful. And I have to say, I mean, I'm all about getting a good deal, but making sure you get good quality for your deal. This was under $20. These plants were under $20. And that's amazing, because if you go into the big box stores or some of the, sometimes the pricier independent garden stores, you're not going to get, or at least in my area, you weren't going to get the size of plant. So I'm really happy about that. So for today in the garden, we are just going to, or I'm going to work. Oh yeah, one more thing. I have roses. The buds came out, so that's really nice. I'm very happy about that. There's some buds there. There's one there. There's a couple on that one. And let's just go a little closer. Oh dear. There's Miss Bunny. Oh my goodness. This bunny, can you see her? She was a baby. So we saw her as a baby in our garden. She likes to hang out here. From a baby, she's grown. We call her now Teenage Bunny. And she hasn't left. And she likes this spot. She's kind of in the shade. I don't want to scare her. I don't know if you guys can kind of see her there. But she's really not that, she's not really afraid of us. And I don't know if that's a problem because she won't leave. She hangs out in this area a lot. She doesn't really, I caught her one time nibbling on this rose bush under there. You see my hat and my shadow now. But other than that, she just kind of eats like the grass. She wanders out of the garden. She comes back into the garden late at, in the evening. And then she comes like during the day, like now. And she kind of sets up her little spot under these roses or under the boxwoods. So now I have like a pet that I really didn't go shopping for. So she hangs out here a lot. But however, so now I can't really get you guys that close to see that rose, but you get the idea. So the roses are here. I'll work on removing the Bobos, cutting them down, and transplanting them. And then I guess that's it. That's it for today. That's my garden chores for today. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and thanks as always for watching, and I will see you in the next videos. And you know what? Here's a thought. If you guys have any ideas of what I can put in this spot, let me know, because you guys gave me a couple ideas with like the Mother Mary and some of like ground covers and other things. So I'm very interested to know what you guys think the problem was in regards to the Bobos kind of declining, and what you think I can possibly put against the house in this area. So, however, we will sign off now, and happy gardening, fellow gardeners, and I will see you guys. And I don't know if you can see the bunny, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.